In this lesson, Lang Chen is going to help me demonstrate how you can more effectively land touches against counterattacks. Now, generally speaking, counterattack is not viewed as a very significant threat. Since it has no right of way, we feel more inclined to make our attack. However, you will find that well-timed, well-placed counterattacks are extremely effective in shutting down your attack. And what we're going to look at are two principal counterattacks and how you can land a touch against them. So both of them are displacing target. One of them is going to be a twist to deny the attack before, and the other one is going to be a displacement where you're pulling the low line away and leaning forward. So essentially what we're looking at is how we're going to land a touch if we are looking at those targets. We're going to start with a demonstration in the attack in 4 so we can see how that counterattack is being applied. It's not that we are necessarily always attacking that line, but in this case we're going to do it to facilitate the counterattack. So we're going to see how it's set up. Lang Chen is going to initiate an attack against me in 4. I'm going to twist and get out of it while making my own touch. So we're both on guard. Lang Chen is going to initiate his lunge, and I twist and counterattack. You can see his point has clearly missed me. I've landed my touch. So he has right of way. I do not. I deny him the touch. I get the point. So this is a very sneaky action, very common when it comes to a counterattack. It's just well timed. I can see precisely where you're attacking me. So let's look at how we can actually reverse that and still make it a consistent attack. When we want to land a touch and deny on the counterattack, twisting the inside line, we have to look at how they're able to time that action and stop us to begin with. Now, generally speaking, if I'm going to do this as a counterattack, I know where you are going. So the issue isn't that I'm counterattacking. The issue is that I know where you are attacking. It's very clear and present in your action. So we have to look at how we can conceal that intent to make my gamble at a counterattack in the inside line less violent. So, first things first. If we're on guard, and I'm very clearly presented on the inside line for the attack, and this point isn't changing, you can ascertain from that that I am clearly attacking the inside line. I'm going to go deep. This means, with that information, I'm safe to come to that conclusion. So we're going to look at me applying an attack against Lang Chen where I can conceal that intent so that his counterattack is going to be less effective. So to give us a little bit more space so I have a little bit more time to set it up, I'm going to get him to come right up here close to the center line. So we're both going to stand on guard. And I'm going to be presenting my intent. I'm going to be attacking, but I'm going to actually keep my intent as to where I'm going to attack him a little bit more hidden. This way, his twist for a counterattack for the inside line is going to be less effective. So I'm on guard, he's on guard, I'm advancing. You can immediately see my blade is less present. And you can see I can land the touch. He's twisting, but he immediately notices he doesn't know where my attack is going to go. I end up attacking right here, close to his outside line, but it's right in that dividing zone, close to inside and outside. Reason I'm able to do that and deny his counterattack is that when I'm advancing, I'm keeping my blade, for the most part, hidden. Instead of advancing forward with a fixed point, I'm down here and I'm changing. I'm not immediately marching forward aggressively. I am applying pressure while I keep my blade more or less absent. And when I initiate, my hand is quick, it's in time. He is now going to guess where he can counterattack, and he will be wrong because he doesn't have all the information. He has the distance, but he doesn't really know the line. And we can look at one other way we can land an attack against this counterattacking move. We're going to look at the second method of landing a touch against this form of counterattack. A little bit of the same setup, but looking at a different line in which we can land the action. So Lang Chen is going to stand on guard, and I'm going to demonstrate how we can lead this attack. So again, we're setting up with the hand. We have the distance that we need to attack. Lang Chen has the distance he needs to counterattack. But we're going to again mislead him. We don't want him to be able to guess which line we're attacking. So in this case, I'm definitely going to sell it to him that I'm attacking him on the inside line of the 4. This way I'll get the twist out of it. Reason for that is I want to land a touch on his back, because I want him to turn. So he's on guard. I'm going to start the advance. He's retreating. And then you can see my blade is still forward. I start. And I can land on the back. Now, the exact way of finishing is not set in stone. So again, if he's on guard, and he twists to do his counterattack, I'm here, he's twisting, you can see my blade is not really there. I can finish it here. I do not have to continue in this line. How is this possible? When you're setting up, you start the attack here, but it's in charge of the hand, so the hand lifts the point, and you can drop it down. So it comes from the hand position. This is why you need that distance. You're stepping in, you see the counterattack, because you've sold the line, you can finish in the other one. So you're starting a little bit slow. This is why he thinks he can time me out. The distance is right. So you start slow, and then you can change line. You go for the back because he is twisted, and he has now presented that as a target. So again, 2 things you want to hold here. 1, you can keep the blade as a mystery. He won't know where it's going. And if he's prone to counterattacking in this line, then you can keep him guessing and you can finish direct. If, on the other hand, you want to set him up for that counterattack, you make him believe that you're attacking in the inside, and you start slow, he counterattacks, and you change line. You drive the point onto the back. Second counterattack we're going to be looking at is something that you're more likely to encounter against a tall opponent. And this is a very common action, especially when you're dealing with novice and intermediate fencers. Reason for that is because the counterattack itself is not very sophisticated. All you're doing is you are extending the arm towards the target while you pull your low line away and lean forward. It's a very easy counterattack, but it's also not very reliable when dealing with someone who knows how to finish. Now, why do we do this? If I'm fencing someone Lang Chen's height, I'm generally going to be safe in the assumption that whenever he attacks me, he's going to attack more or less for the low line. Attacking in the high line seems less likely because I'm quite tall, so if he's sitting down, we can demonstrate this. So if he's on guard, and I'm on guard, when he extends, he's more or less extending at this position. So if he extends, and I change to counterattack, I'm now much taller. Where he's attacking, the target doesn't exist anymore. So we're going to look at how this counterattack is first applied, and then we're going to examine how we can actually turn it around and land touches against it. All right, we're going to demonstrate the counterattack first. So I'm going to stage the counterattack. Lang Chen is going to finish right here low. So as he's advancing, he's going to get ready for his attack. So when he lunges, you can see it's a low line. All I do is extend and pull away. There's nothing there for him to hit. Now, similar to the last counterattack, this is something I can judge and gamble on with some certainty. If I'm fencing someone who's shorter than me, chances are it's going to be quite low in the attack. It can be hard to hit a high line. So I can be pretty safe in my assumption that I can get away with this. If your opponent does this counterattack against you, you can be sure that they're going to try it again, so you have to be able to change it. So what can we do to change this counterattack into a failed action? Now, first things first. If I assume Lang Chen's position, and I'm all the way down here, this is where the attack is going to go. So I'm leading with the hand, and I'm pretty much stuck in that position. Not the great place. So Lang Chen, stand on guard. So number 1, if he starts with the hand, he's doing a direct attack, so he extends directly at me. He's not going to be very flexible in changing. My counterattack will always land. However, now that he knows that this counterattack is a viable threat and he wants to resolve something against it, he needs to now change. So when he drives his attack, it's not going to be from this low position where he's just lifting his hand forward and lunging out. He is now going to have to attack a higher line. So, what are those? Shoulders and flank. So, you're on guard, you advance forward. Instead of being down here or straight forward and just doing this, you're now keeping your point up. This way, when the counterattack comes, the shoulder doesn't actually change. So you have to commit with your hand and make the attack, whether you're finishing with a flick or a direct lunge. So we're going to see how that works. We're going to do the same counterattack, same distance, same timing, but this time Lang Chen is going to deny my action by leading from the high line. So I'm going to start the retreat. When he sees me commit to my counterattack, he's going to finish. So we're retreating, and when I commit, you can see high line. This area is no longer going to be exploited by his attack. So instead, you can change, keeping your hand in the high position. So instead of advancing here or advancing here, I'm falling, you're going to exploit. Attack setup comes from the hand, so you're moving forward, you see the counterattack, and boom, you can go for a flick, or you're moving forward, counterattack, extend high.